Mark Anthony here from SiGMA Group. Today in the studio with me I have Alexander Martin, CEO of SKS 365. Let's go! Alexander Martin, thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. How are you doing?
Very well. Hopefully you're doing also great. Mark, many thanks for inviting me today for the interview, and also many thanks to SiGMA for organizing that.
An absolute pleasure, and I'm doing great myself today. Well, SKS 365, we are here to find out much more about it. I have a few questions for you, and I'd like to just jump right into it and get the curiosity out of the way. So SKS 365, together with the brand Planet Win 365, right, is an omni-channel operator. So which investments have the operators, or which investments have you taken in the last years to the channel, and how do you see the future of SKS?
Well, SKS 365 has a flagship brand, Planet Win 365. Then, particularly in the last years with the corona pandemic, we added on top a multi-payment service offering called Planet Pay 365, which was a big investment. But core of our business is the gambling business with Planet Win 365. So I joined SKS at the end of 2019, and at that time we were not utilizing all our 1,000 licenses. So first of all, we take a deep investment in building up the footprint of the whole operations and opening more and more shops. But we also invested heavily into the design of all our shops. So the new design is called In the Game. So we're building a lot about the customer experience and product experience within the shops. So the whole design within the shops have been highly uplifted. We have been doing dedicated zones for the various product offerings within the shops. So there's the sports betting, there's so-called Prenetatore. You can top up to play then on a dedicated PC to place your bets there. But then beside that, we also invested heavily in our virtuals offering. We have one of the most advanced virtual offering within our shops, but then also on horse racing, called in Italy ippica. And then late but not lastly, into our AWP and VLT business. So with a concession that we are holding in Italy, and then within the 1,000 shops, we also have the right to operate AWP and VLT machines with a concession holder for these kind of gaming machines. So we invested heavily in the retail network, and one out of the big events that we were holding even last week in Rome, we opened a new flagship store in the center of Rome, where all the new ingredients that we developed over the last years are coming together. And we had a nice B2B event where agents, the media and the press came together and take a look, and they were really impressed what they were seeing. We are an online-led omni-channel operator. So even if we are having 1,000 shops, the majority of the business nowadays is getting traded online. And even in the online business, clearly we have our sportsbook offering that has been extending and deepened heavily on the kind of matches and the forms of bets you can actually bet on. But then we added over the last years tremendously a wealth of casino offering in terms of table games, slots, but then also we added bingo, the lottery, where we're selling the tickets, and we're also still offering poker, and also the virtuals and the horse racing is available on the online offering. And not only extended the offering over the last years, the whole user experience has been becoming much more efficient, much more nicer, and the customer base has been growing that, and the investments that we have taken over the last years certainly have been seeing a quite great return over the last years.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Alexander. Well, under Planet Win 365, with all these products that we just mentioned, how do you see the future of the products as a whole?
We are offering a big bundle of products. Certainly, there are products which are very mature, where we're actually standing quite strongly for, like the sports betting. Planet Win 365 is pretty strongly known for the sports betting offering that we are running. A big growth factor over the last years has been virtuals and casino operations. So we see more and more interest in the casino activities, live table games, but also the slot table games. And Hippica and horse racing, I think it's not only in Italy, but also you see it in other markets. It's more stabilizing. It's on a smaller scale nowadays. It's even if the improvements have been coming up tremendously, to watch a lot of tracks around the world, from Australia to the Americas, so you have a coverage nearly 24 hours a day. The overall interest is a little bit declining, but the same goes a little bit for poker. It has been in the peak for lots of years back in time, but it has been quite stabilizing, even a little bit of decline in the last years. But we're using these kind of verticals like poker. With a poker event, for example, just a few weeks ago, we were running here at the Porto Master Casino a Planet Poker event where we invited a lot of our agents and partners and customers to the event, and we had nearly 800 of players here, and that was really an experience for all our customers and partners to come here together to play poker again. But no, overall, it's let me say, a smaller niche. There are others that are focusing on that quite strongly, and they have the brand around this. But for all of us, we have it. But sports betting, virtuals, and casino, I would be saying, is in the heart of the operation. Certainly something is more and more on the rising and it's picking up much more stronger as esports. Under the Italian regulator, the kind of esports you can offer is actually a little bit more limited as in other markets. But the new generation, and you see it nowadays in the stadiums where these players are coming together, these tickets are sold out quite quickly, and the people want to see these kind of cubes playing against each other quite actively, and it's a big tournament, it's a big event, and I think that will be growing quite nicely over the next years. And then we need to see what other forms of gaming will be coming up, but we see really that a lot of people are having more and more interest seeing events that are more like TV shows. So not on the one hand the traditional slots where you have the pure spins, people want to get more entertained. So some of the game developers are now bringing into variations of their games where they have a kind of TV show character and you can play on these. It's quite interesting and encouraging and entertaining for many of our players.
Brilliant. In terms of esports, I recently found out there is going to be some college courses on esports, just to bring more awareness into this product. I think it's really good, the innovative way of actually going forward and teaching the people of the future, you know, that esports is here to stay. It's a growing market as well, and it's just really interesting to know that colleges have also got involved and teaching their students. I am actually going to go forward to an interesting question over here. Tell me the key success factors in the future of SKS 365.
I think key success factors of SKS 365 is on the one hand always to understand what the customers are demanding. Sometimes you need to be also innovative to bring out new products and services. We never rest. We do always constantly interviews to our customer base, to the VIPs, to our agents, to media partners, to come up with new ideas. The roadmap, not only for this year, but also for the coming years, is full of product ideas. So the roadmap hasn't been bigger in the last years as it is coming up now, and we are continuing to invest in our offering. And you always have to bring to the customer something new than when they're returning on a daily or weekly basis, saying, oh, something new has been arising, and it's kind of wow effect. I think that's quite important because the new generations are more and more used nowadays that there's always something inspiring, new, different. I think that is something you need to continue. We actively give in our shops this kind of entertainment experience where we're hosting special events with food or any other special occasions that are coming up. But I think the key number one success factor in the future for any kind of company is to invest in their employees, because all kind of companies are seeing shortage in qualified resources. It's an employee market nowadays, not an employer market anymore, and investing into the employees is quite substantial. We have been branding this under Work, Live, Play. So the tagline of our Planet Win 365 is Sport, Live, Play. So we took the same for the employee experience with Work, Live, Play. And back on the experience that we're doing quite successfully during the Corona pandemic, where we introduced the flexibility of the places where people are working and how much they are working in the office or outside of the office, and also the times of the day. We encourage that kind of flexibility. We're also looking in terms of the training and the development of the people so that they're really feeling comfortable by being in the company and they also can grow personally. And we're really encouraging a culture which is very cohesive and collaborative across the whole teams of the multiple locations that we are running. Because more and more projects than nowadays, because we have been building some massive ones within the last months, are really an effort, not by a single department, by all the departments in the organization. And this is going forward one of the key success factors, that people are happy, they like to be within the company, and it's attracting more employees and really joining the company and having fun with us.
Thank you. Alexander, what is the outlook on the gaming market?
I'm very positive on the gaming market in terms of it has been showing quite strongly within the last years, in particular on the corona pandemic, the resilience of the business. I think that has been seen by lots of under other industries, that the gaming business was continuing quite substantially. And we as a company, as said, being online led, we have been actually seeing growing numbers during the years where the shops were closed down. And that was quite a success already, and certainly when the shops have been reopening in the last year and even this year, seeing further growth on a tremendous factor. So there's overall the acceptance, let me say, of gambling, sports betting and casino operation or slot machines is growing, and more people are enjoying to have some fun and to entertain themselves with these kind of forms of playing. I would be saying in the near future that maybe could be rising significantly, because there are discussions in some countries and only offering employees 4 days a week of working, so you're getting an extra day of entertainment, whatever form people would really like and to enjoy to use it. And then if we are speaking one day about self-driving cars, and comes the question, what are people doing when the car is driving them from A to B? Because then you also have more spare time. You can watch streaming any kind of videos, you can actually work, but maybe you also like to play a little bit during this kind of rides. I think overall the demand is rising, the acceptance is rising, as long we are offering something highly attractive in a responsible manner, and people really enjoying to play.
A very reassuring answer. Thank you, Alexander. I'm coming to my very last question for you. So in Italy, you work under a concession model, yeah? How does SKS 365 prioritize compliance and responsible gaming and ensuring that your customers participate in safe and regulated betting environments?
So Italy is very particular in their format, as you said correctly, Mark, it's a concession. So we are on the extended length of the regulator and the ADM, and we have 1,000 licenses for the betting shops. Responsible gambling is high priority. It's not only what the regulator is demanding and it is enforcing. Compliance is really embedded in the whole organization. Of course, on the one hand, I need to secure the customers and the players and their balances, but also the employees need to be in a safe environment. And we are fulfilling not only the full regulations in terms of all the information about potential addiction if anybody needs any kind of help, but everybody can set their own limits. We are always constantly checking the amounts people are actually playing in the background, contacting them in terms of also trying to find out their source of wealth, and doing this really in a professional manner, so that everybody is playing in a good and reasonable way that they really can afford it. Certainly not everybody is equally, so some people can afford to play a little bit more, others should play a little bit less, but we are doing that quite actively on the hundreds of thousands of players that we have on a regular basis.
That's brilliant. Alex, that's definitely an example to follow, I would say. You've set the baseline, I would say now. Alexander, I would like to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and visiting us at our studios today and answering my questions. I am pretty sure that we are very satisfied with the knowledge we have just acquired from SKS 365, and I'd like to wish you a great time. in Malta for the rest of your time, and I hope to see you soon. Alexander.
Mark, many, many thanks. It was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.